This is Jump and Shoot, aka Spade Hearts. I also go by that. And I just want to thank you in advance for joining me on yet another one of my spontaneous game reviews that are years in between at a time. And I'm talking about Metroid Prime 4 because I have a few videos on YouTube saved up from people I watch. So before I watch those this time, I want to put out my opinion out there before I go compare my opinions to theirs and see where we line up, see what they mentioned, see what I mentioned that they didn't. It's gonna be interesting for me. Also, this is one of my most anticipated games at a certain point in time. I was really excited for this game. I even put it on I made this favorite video game meme chart, and most anticipated I put there Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. It was like after they finally named the title. I do remember when the first teaser for this came out, it was just called Metroid Prime 4 with like the blue aura logo thing. And it's been a long time. Notoriously, this game has been delayed, and not even delayed, just like canceled and then restarted from the ground up. So we finally get here. I finally managed to get it. I got the Switch 1 version. So if you're looking for a Switch 2 review version, you might want to go find somebody else who did that. But I buckled down and just got the Switch 1 version. I knew I was not going to be able to afford a Switch 2 in time by the time this game came out. And also, I wasn't going to be able to afford a bunch of games. So you know what? I already have a Switch. It's a dual release. It's pretty much the Twilight Princess of Metroid, and in this modern era, they dual release this game on the Switch 1 and the Switch 2. So I was just like, I'm just gonna get the Switch 1 version and not even think about it. It's cheaper. It was $60 instead of what, 70 or 80. The people's opinions I'm waiting on to hear from in my watch later are Some Call Me Johnny. He has a video. Scott the Wise, he has a video. I did already watch Yahtzee Crowshaw's shorter video on Metroid Prime 4. It was only 5-7 minutes, so I felt like I could watch that one. I was already in the middle of playing it too, so I didn't get myself spoiled on much. And then whatever the hell Arlo's video was, I think I unsubscribed after that, because that was such a non-opinion piece. So I'm hoping to wash that away with everybody else's opinions and my own. So that's why I really want to talk about this. The way I'm going to break this down is I have a spoiler section and a non-spoiler section. It's going to be at the beginning. I'm just going to be talking about my initial feelings and my first hands-on experience, and then the gameplay and the game cycle, and then my final opinion. That's the non-spoiler. And then the spoiler, I'm going to be talking about a bunch of shit. So buckle in. Oh boy. So there's parts of this game where I think we're back, and there's other parts of this game where I think, what the hell were these decisions? I'm trying to equate this game in my mind to the striped sweater analogy from SpongeBob. You know how SpongeBob is trying to reinvent all the ways he's working at the Krusty Krab, and then everyone just wants him to make the fucking Krabby Patty. There's moments in the game where they're singing weird stuff, singing about a green striped sweater, turtle dove, turtleneck, and I'm just please just be a normal Metroid Prime game. And they're just trying so much weird stuff, and I'm just just make the Krabby Patty, please. Just give me Metroid Prime, please. So a lot of my experience was, this is weird for a Metroid game, which sucks considering the time for development that they had to spend restarting the game from the ground up. They did a lot more the new Galactic Federation characters, and I know that that's not much saying, but we've already seen the Galactic Federation in other games, but it seems like they're really trying to push them way more every time. They're a little bit in Metroid Prime 2, and then they're a little bit seen more. You actually go to the Galactic Federation base, or a base, in Metroid Prime 3, and then there's of course Metroid Prime Other M, which is a whole new squad of people. and then it's Federation Force, and now this. I feel like they're trying way too hard to like push this aspect that nobody really cares about. I don't think, at least in my opinion, I don't care about them that much. But they're here now, but like I'm not surprised at this point. And then there's the Viola is a part of this game. There's the new psychic powers that are part of this game. Like, those are the brand new things that they're trying to bring to the table, make it different from all the other ones. I get it. I'm with you. But I will say the opening area, that's where it did start to feel like we're back. You got the Metroid Prime HUD, you got your missiles in the corner, you got the visor in the corner, you use the scan visor, you're scanning stuff already in like the tutorial level. It's very high octane in the beginning, and this was kind of a detriment to itself, because when I watched Yossi Crowshaw's video, he did mention that like the beginning of the game is like so abrupt, when in previous ones it was a little bit more like slow or atmospheric and try to like gradually get you into the situation. This game starts, it's just a paragraph of text. Silex is doing this, Silex is here, he's blowing everything up, he's attacking the Galactic Federation base, hurry, go. And it is really fast. This is something Yahtzee Croshaw brought up, and I finally see what it meant when I started playing the game. I'm like, you know what, it is kind of abrupt. They don't take any time to like introduce Silex. He's just there in the paragraph. And I guess what I also didn't realize is that they've been building up to his return for a long time. I'll get into this much later into the video, but originally he was in Metroid Prime Hunters. Everyone knows that. I think he was just kind of like gone for a long time. Anyway, there's a huge gap of time between his appearance in Metroid Prime Hunters all the way to Metroid Prime 3, and he's at the end of it, he's a teaser that his ship appears after you solve the Phazon saga or whatever, and it goes off into space, and then that's all we see of him for like years. And I don't know many people who played Metroid Prime Federation Force, but apparently he's teased that in a similar way, because the game begins with him, there's a paragraph that says, oh, he got control of Metroids and using Metroids to control everybody.
Get that artifact on the bird, now!
Careful! I need to secure this thing!
We're out of time. Let's go! Protect the artifact!
Get down!
So in the tutorial area, you make it through, and due to shenanigans, Silex really wants this like purple Fushigi ball MacGuffin. He gets control of it, and everybody teleports to Vuros, and first Samus gets teleports to like the Psychic Axolotl Temple. And they're already getting compared to like the Luminoff from Metroid Prime 2. It's just a new race of character that Samus encounters that needs their help. It's like, as you do. Characters always be needing Samus's help. I get it. But this is the catalyst that gets things going. I wish it was more concrete what was happening, but a lot of things are vague and it's just not really explained, and this really is disappointing as I play. It's just I'm not getting the answers that I wanted as I played, but I digress for now. After Samus leaves the initial Lamorne Temple, the naming scheme with these guys is that there's Lamorne, and then there's a separate creature called the Grievers. Lamorne and Grieve, Morn and Grieve. Get it? If you roast, get it? I don't think Vios is part of the pun. It should be called Muertos. That'd have been cool. You get brought to the jungle, and this is what they showed in the first teaser footage for the game, for the first trailer of gameplay. You land in the Fury Green, and there's creatures, and you scan stuff, and you're using the morph ball, and there's puzzles like We're back. Oh, we're so back. That's where I was. That's where Arlo was. That's where we all were. We all were excited to see that shit. And then as you play, you start noticing all these new biomes are like just based on elements. Like the first area is like jungle. The second area is like electricity. There's a fire zone. There's an ice zone. There's an underground zone, and these get equivocated to Zelda biomes. But like if you think about it, every Metroid game has its environmental area. Since Samus is always dealing with hot and cold, there's always like a fire area. There's always an ice area. You know, even in Metroid Fusion, like there's like designated biomes with different environments that they want to showcase and have you play through. Like that's, I don't get the forced equivocation to it. It's just, this is just a Zelda area, and maybe I do. It's because this is a big map. Usually in Metroid games, it's like a network of things that make it look like you're on a planet and not just one single region where every place is like conveniently on the side of each other. Anyway, there's a section where you meet up with Mackenzie, who is the flagship like punching bag for the entire game. Everyone's just harping on this character. And then I gotta say, some of it for good reason. He is a little bit annoying, but when I first saw the footage of him, I thought, you know what? I'll believe some of the other people that are saying, oh, you know what? Just calm down. He's probably just in the tutorial. He's probably just there. He's not gonna be talking that much. You could probably turn off the voice, whatever. You can't. They lied. You can hate him for good reason. He sucks. He's annoying. And if you think Mackenzie is not annoying, at least you actually like him and thinks he makes the game better for you, you probably like Ugly Sonic. You'll probably like Bubsy, and you'll probably think the Scuttlebutt song is a genuinely good piece of music. You make it through the tutorial area with him. There's this little hub section, the safe house in the Fury Green. This begins your game cycle, where every time you go to a biome, you return there, and then he'll give you something about where to go next, and then you go back out. This is editing jump. I did forget to say something. That this is also part of the game loop. Is you're getting keys from each zone who has a boss. You defeat them. You get a key for a teleporter, and this teleporter is supposed to help you get Samus and all the other fun little characters out and back to the Federation house. But yeah, this is part of the loop. That's essentially the rinse and repeat of most of the game. And as you progress through an area, you'll have new marking tools that I think are holdovers from previous Metroid games. I don't recall them being in 2 or 3. But these definitely feel like holdovers from Metroid Samus Returns and Metroid Dread, and even before those two, another Metroid 2 remake, which introduced the idea of like using a marker on the map. In Samus Returns, you have like 5 different colored markers, and then I think you have even more in Metroid Dread. So it's nice to have something like that in Metroid Prime, where like a lot of these 3D maps are kind of like weird to look through, and you have to do a lot of reorienting and like trying to remember what's there. And like, is this in like a high part of this room or a low part of this room? Like as soon as you enter the 3D space, it gets kind of a little bit overwhelming for some people. But you can just mark a room, come back to it later. That is really good. I like that a lot. And like I said, a new part of this game is the deserts. And the desert sucks. And then by the second level, you have the viola. This is your main tool for traversing this big, boring desert. There's nothing. There's actually nothing here. It's just a big, empty desert with very little life or just anything mostly to do in it. Like when you're riding the bike, you might come across like 1 or 2 robots, maybe some green bats or whatever. But that's basically it. There's green crystals everywhere. And earlier in the game, you won't know what those do for a long time. and you'll just be breaking them and getting them and collecting them and not knowing what they do.
Those green energy crystals to the altar.
I will say, when I watched Yahtzee Crowshaw's video, he did bring this up, that like the bike is missing some features, because he said he had trouble trying to collect some of these crystals early and later in the game, because like it doesn't have good like handling, I'll say. And when you boost, you really don't have handling, so you'll be trying to like collect like a cluster of crystals, you might miss it, and the only thing you can do is just get off, turn around, and then get back on the bike. There aren't like good pivoting or like actual drifting tools to stay on the bike and not have to get off it a bunch. And it's also missing a jump, in my opinion. It would be really nice with a jump. There could have been more puzzles that use the bike like around the map or something. It's just a bunch of dunes. I think there's one loop. There's one loop you do. Not even a loop. There's one ramp you jump through to get through a weird rock formation. That's like a freaking... It looks like a Sonic loop, but you actually go through the hole. You don't go around the loop. That's the one puzzle I can think of where you need to use the bike to get the power up. Like, that's about it. And then there's no music in the desert. And Nintendo has the gall to put musical content behind an amiibo just so that the desert doesn't fucking suck ass because it's silent all the time. And then I know I go to this track on like finding Metroid music on YouTube, and everybody in the comments is like finally, oh, this is what this song sounds like. It's like nobody is gonna drop like $50 just for a track of music to play. And the amiibos themselves do other stuff in the game, but like you're definitely not buying this just for the music to be unlocked. It unlocks other stuff in like the gallery, but I can't be asked to fucking do that shit. Like, put stuff in the game that's supposed to be there the first time around, not in. I was telling a friend about this, and he's like, Iwata never would have let this happen. That's like the biggest like middle finger to the player, is like hiding content behind $50 amiibos. I thought we were past this. But speaking of the music is really good. I think it really picks up when you reach the Vault Forge, the second level. I love all the boss themes. They're really good. The game still retains its like very techno and industrial kind of vibe soundtrack, which is a holdover from like Metroid Prime. I think all of them really. Like, this is like really good like sci-fi sounding music, and they all fit wherever it is. And this is interesting too, because there's the Grievers, which are counterparts to the Lemorne. The Grievers theme, when you fight them, it's just... I'm gonna try to get footage of this again. I have to get a lot of footage again. But when you fight them, there's like this... The first few seconds of the battle theme plays, and that's it. So I thought, when they come on screen, that this little noise comes on, I guess. And you go to the track in YouTube and it's like the full song. So I also tried to Google Griever music glitch to see if anybody else was experiencing this, and some comments are saying the lower reason for this noise is because the Grievers are fucked up versions of the Lemorn, so their psychic frequencies are just like messed up, and that's the noise we hear. I get it, I get that. But there's still a whole track out there that isn't playing when you fight them. So it is a glitch still. So I'm like wondering, like, oh, is this another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet situation where there's a Metroid Prime 4 Beyond might have memory leak issues that is affecting the game soundtrack, and where it was happening in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet was the Elite Four theme. So for a long time, I think at least before they patched it out, I wouldn't know because you can't play the Elite Four again to hear that theme. Anyway, before the patch, you would just hear like the first few notes of the Elite Four theme. And then if you go on YouTube, there's a track called the Elite Four theme memory leak version, where it just had that like 4-note synth like over and over again, because that's what you would hear because of the memory leak in the actual game. So I think that's what's happening in Metroid Prime 4, is when those Grievers come on screen, you just hear that, and then that goes on forever. And in fact, I thought that was intentional, so whenever they came on screen, I just didn't even fight them anymore. I was just like, fuck you, I'm going to the next screen because I don't want to hear this like high-pitched ringing in my ear like 5,000 times every time I go through an area and backtrack. But yeah, that's a weird thing that is part of this game. The weapons this time around are kind of returned to form, in my opinion, because each new beam you get is now back to not being stacked. In Metroid Prime 1 and 2, they were separate beams that you could switch between, and that's fun. We like doing that. We like switching the beams. In Metroid Prime 3, they were all stacked together, so you would get like the beam, the wave beam, the plasma beam, and those would all just combine. So most of the time, you're just spamming the A button, and it's not as fun as switching the beam. And like it's actually kind of fun, like looking at certain enemies and their patterns and like what they're going to be weak to and stuff like that. Like exploiting enemy weaknesses is fun. Like, oh, this one's weak to fire, this is weak like ice or weak to like electricity or whatever. In Metroid Prime 2 introduced the idea of ammo, of the beams having ammo, along with the missiles having ammo too. There's like an ammo consumption kind of strategy going on that I think was absent from the first game. And it's just kind of felt like, well, what's stopping me from just like switching the beam and just like spamming that one a bunch? Like, oh, then now there's ammo. In Metroid Prime 4, they're called shots. These are new like chips that Samus installs in her gun that you regrettably have to bring to Mackenzie all the time. She can't just get the chip and then put it in herself. She has to bring it to Mackenzie, and it's annoying. The fact that you can't just like get the beam, use it in the moment. You have to like get the beam, leave, then go back to where you were. That shit's annoying. I can't believe that's how they decided the progression was gonna work out. Ugh. But anyway, they're called shots. They're described as magic attacks, which is weird for Metroid. But the ammo management is I feel like is cool. I like switching the beams. It feels nice. You can map it. You can map all those to the D-pad, as they should be mapped to the D-pad, because that's how it was in other games. In this part, I'm not gonna spoil much, but in each zone you go to, in each biome, you do meet a new Galactic Federation character, as advertised, and from the trailers anyway. And I'll admit it isn't as bad as I thought. There might be some over hatred going on. That they're all cringe characters. They're all cringe, like Marvel side character dialogue having characters. I understand you, but it wasn't as bad as I thought. The trailer made it seem like you're gonna encounter like a lot of these characters in every area, and where I thought it was going to go was, you know how in like modern Paper Mario games, or in like some newer ones, at least in something like Mario Luigi Paper Jam or Sticker Star, there's a lot of toads just around, and you have to like save all these toads. And I thought that's what they were gonna do with these Galactic Federation characters. Like, there was gonna be like 100 of them that you had to save by the end of the game to get like the true ending or whatever. But there's like 6, and they all have their dumb, quirky little personalities. And as I said earlier, it's not like we're not used to Galactic Federation characters, but their personalities are weird for this game. They, like, a lot of the time they just feel out of place. It's like, I don't need these like hyperactive characters in Metroid in general. Even in other M, they were a little bit more stoic, and I can't believe I'm saying that, honestly, because there was a whole like drama thing with the Galactic Federation characters in other M. You mostly see the army in Metroid Prime 3 when they help you in the pirate overworld or homeworld or whatever. And that's about it. I don't really care about them that much. I don't know why they're pushing them so hard. I didn't play all the way through Metroid Prime Federation Force because that game was ass. And they are in the trailers. They're all advertised like, you might need them for puzzles at some time too. And this trailer does not do that aspect of the game justice, because these actual interactions are like, most of the time it's just you bring them along and they open a 2-person door, and like that's about it. There's no puzzle, there's no interactions with them other than that. It's like there's no problem that really would require these characters as solutions. Like, it's just so stupid. They're honestly just tonally all over the place, and most importantly, they're just weird for Metroid. Like, that's their worst crime, honestly. And sometimes you have to escort them. Like, sometimes when you go through a new area, you might meet that character, and then they'll have a cutscene, and then their health bar appears in the side. It's like, why do you have a health bar? And then you have to escort them through like an area, and then if they die, that's like an instant game over. And I think there's times where you can like walk up to them and heal them, but if you can't heal them in time, they really die, and then that's a game over. And like, God, I don't. That's another one of those things where I'm like, I really don't want to be doing this in Metroid, especially in Metroid Prime. Like, when I stopped playing Metroid Prime Federation Force, I was on this early game mission where you have to escort the She-Goths into cages, and I was doing it for like 20 minutes because you have to like herd them into the cages, and I just pressed pause. I put the game down. I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do like escort, guide the creatures into the cage crap. Like, get that out of here, please. We don't need that shit. As you progress through the game, you're getting all these things. You're getting all the powers. You're upgrading your suit as you do. You're backtracking to where you need to get like extra power ups or whatever. That's normal. That's not unheard of. But you do all this for your final confrontation with the final boss, and by the end, I just felt mostly disappointed. by the end. Like overall, there were cool moments and sequences that were great, but overall, the other elements like the viola, I feel like it was undercooked. It's just not that fun. When you do the training thing with the viola, you get taken to this like digital hollow track, and I felt like I was in a Tron game. I'm like, this is kind of weird for Metroid. This like rock techno music kicks in, and it's like, whoa, what am I playing? I feel like I'm playing like a Dreamcast racing game from like the early 2000s. I'm like, what the hell is this? Or like a PSP Wipeout spinoff. Like, what the hell? What the hell is this, dude? The amiibo was kind of shit. The open world-ish stuff was bad. That just felt like pointless. This is a series known for like exploration and isolation. There's like a creepy factor sometimes, and a lot of that stuff was toned down, I think, for the hokiness of like the Galactic Federation interactions, the bike stuff. Just all of it was just weird, and I felt mostly disappointed by the end. The ending didn't answer much for me. I'm like, by the end, I was just like Krusty the Clown. I was like, what the hell was that? I'm not gonna assign a number or a letter or this. I'm just gonna say my feelings. I'm disappointed by this game. I'm not mad. I'm glad that it's here. I'm just disappointed.
What the hell is that?
All right, so this section of the video is going to be very spoiler heavy. I'm going to be talking about mainly the story and like bigger points of the game that stand out in my mind, and some problems I had with things. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a while since I recorded the first section, so I might repeat a few things, but hopefully I don't. I want to say with the levels in general, I'm talking about like the levels. The biomes are really cool, have really cool moments. Fury Green is kind of like the starting area, so I didn't really expect much while I was playing. It does a okay job like setting like the mood of the rest of the game, like what you're going to be doing. You're going to be scanning stuff, you're going to be like finding power-ups and backtracking a little bit, like, oh, this needed like the fire shot or the missile to open or whatever. You got to be going back here a lot, especially after completing a different area in the game. You come back to Fury Green a lot between every mission to go back to the safe zone that Mackenzie is in and all the other G-Fed people. That's just part of the cycle. Fury Green is part of the cycle. Volt Forge is really freaking cool. I like mostly the entirety of Volt Forge. The music is good. It's really energetic. You find a lot of robots here. There's a lot of electrical, environmental hazards to deal with. First of all, this level is a big factory in the middle that they had to build in the middle of a permanent thunderstorm, and that just setting is so cool. It reminds me of like Sanctuary, going to Sanctuary Fortress and going there for the first time. This is also the same area where you get the bike, and a lot of this level opens up as soon as you get the bike, because you'll be able to like use the cycle to go through each area that connects to each other more efficiently. There's the ice zone. I don't remember its name. It doesn't stand out to me as much. I don't remember the fire zone either, come to think of it. Like after Fury Green and Volt Forge, I don't remember the last like 4 sections of the game, or their names at least. I remember what's going on in them, but the ice zone is this. It starts you out in this like big open ice field, and I think this section is silly. This is Battle with the Wolves. I'm going to talk about this. This Battle with the Wolves that kind of pisses me off. First of all, these wolves don't look as alien as I thought they would be. or as they should, is a better way of saying it. And it's really is designed. This boss fight is designed to get you down to the wire. Like, I think you'll get the fire shot before this point, so taking out some of these wolves will be pretty easy for you. And I think in my playthrough at this point, I was really diligent at like going out of my way to get extra shot expansions, so I could do like the charged fire shot at some of these. But like I said, it's designed to like exhaust you, so you run out of fire shot if you're using it like you're supposed to here against all these wolves, and then they'll just be coming like faster than you can like turn the camera and shoot at them, and you'll be taking like a lot of damage at the end. And, like right at the very end, that's when it cuts off, and there's like a scripted moment where it stops and they finally go away, and then after that, you go into like the laboratory. This battle with the wolves, this is one of those things that feels out of place for Metroid. Like, why is I can't think of like why Samus would be fighting wolves. It's just weird. Like this section feels like it belongs in a Zelda game. I'm gonna say that right now. And the other thing is, when you come back to through this area, when like if you're ever backtracking or something, there's no more wolves. So I guess in the context of this fight, Samus just kills every single ice wolf that's in this bureau. She kills every single wolf, because when you come to this area, there's no more wolves. Like when you backtrack through other areas, you always run into grievers. You always run into like other enemies that like live there. And it just doesn't make fucking sense. That said, the laboratory section of this ice zone is really good. I love this section. There's a good creepiness factor. It's like the isolation you'd get from previous Metroid games. There's a little bit of lore. There's these lore bits, these secret reports that you can scan in each like room. They give you this segmented narrative about like what they were doing in this laboratory. And it's really good. It just feels like there's kind of a build up to what's going on in this particular region, and that is kind of a cool feeling. It's not like a whole cutscene like stopping you, telling you exactly what's going on. It's pretty subtle with like what they're doing here, and you find this out through reading the data logs that I almost said the Lemurians, but I meant the fucking Lemorn. The Lemurians is from Risk of Rain. The Lemorn leave behind, and I do love this part of the section. Like, aside from the wolves thing, I think the ice zone is pretty good. The first half of the fire zone was okay. You do have to. You go in there, you look for something, and then you have to leave. So, and then when you leave, there's like some firewall appears, and you can't go through it unless you have something else. And I thought it was the ice shot. So when I got the ice shot, I came back like, oh, I couldn't do anything. Like, what? So you return here after you get what you need, which I will come back to in a second. This whole section I started to roll my eyes at, because this is where you meet Armstrong and I believe the fangirl, and then you in this area you use them to open doors and go through like these underground like lava elevator transporter things, these like vehicles that you need them to operate for you. And then there's this whole sequence where you have to bring this thing all the way to the end of the bottom of the volcano, so you can figure out what the source of like whatever the hell's going on. I was glad it was over. I can't recall much, but this is where a lot of the quote unquote puzzles that they have you do, like, you might need the G-Fed characters to do the puzzles with and interact with them, and that just extends to just asking them to open the doors for you. Like, oh, there's a 2-person door. They come, they open the door. Like, that's basically it. It's just it feels just like a waste of goddamn time with these guys. And I think the last section is the underground area. it it's like this mine, I think, where I think most of this location is this big team up with the G-Fed people because you need to sneak in, and then there's this like really forced character moments with these guys. They want you to feel bad for these characters that are staying behind to fight for you. They all just start dropping like flies one by one. Like, oh, Samus, go on without me. You do whatever you need to do. And then they go off, or they disappear, or they die, or whatever. And then, like, at the very end of this section, they all just appear. Like, they never died. It's like, oh, well, I guess I don't feel anything now because you made me feel bad that they were going away, and now they're here, and I don't feel bad anymore. Like, okay. It's a big fake out. This location is a big fake out. I guess the location is has the same kind of vibe as the ice or laboratory, where it feels very mysterious. You're seeing more and more of like what the Lamorne were trying to do to help their people. They were like basically experimenting on the Grievers, which used to be Lamorne, but they mutated because of the green cube, Rick and Morty's green cube or whatever. So they were trying to figure out what to do with them. And that's the extent of that. I don't remember much of this area's importance. And speaking of all the G-Fed characters and their interactions, I'll say, like I said in the first part, it wasn't as bad as I thought, but tonally they all feel out of place. You cannot turn off Mackenzie. They lied. Whoever said that, oh, guys, just relax, you can probably just turn them off in the options, you cannot. I'll do a fact check of this when I get the footage I need from my Switch, because I can't find what I want to show online. So when I go back, I'll put a footage of me trying to find the options where to turn off the hint system or the dialogue or whatever. I know it's not there. You can't turn off Mackenzie. And it's kind of obnoxious at times when you're backtracking either in like a biome or you're in the Vuros Desert. And there's only one time in this game where it helped me. This is what I'm referring to when I was talking about the Fire Zone and going there. I was walking around for like a really long time, trying to backtrack to everywhere I haven't been because I couldn't advance through the Fire Zone because I was missing something. And it wasn't the ice shot. I thought it was the ice shot. So I'm walking around, and then finally Mackenzie says, hey, have you tried going back to Volt Forge? I was like, no, nothing from the Fire Zone implied that I would ever need to go back to Volt Forge. And then he says, like, have you tried going to Volt Forge and upgrading your bike? I'm like, what? What do you mean? That's the place where you can do that? It's not clear. That's like one of those cryptic things in this entire game that I was like, okay, this is the only reason to have the Mackenzie hit system on. It's because dumb shit like this, where it doesn't there's no natural reason for you to go back to Volt Forge, so the game has to just tell you, hey, go back there to upgrade your bike. And that was freaking stupid. Here's another something about the dialogue that I feel in general is that every time someone talks or gives exposition or gives you direction, be it from Mackenzie or Armstrong or any of the other characters, it starts to feel like those Mario or Zelda, but it's a modern AAA game videos, but unironically, just from how they talk and over-explain everything. In any other game, in any other Metroid Prime game, no one would be saying a goddamn thing. At most, you get like a pop-up in the top of the screen saying, hey, investigate this area. That's it. That's all you would ever get. In this game, in some areas, Mackenzie will pop up, or some other character, which is explain exactly what areas you need to hit. Like, dude, come on. And I've already gone over each of these G-Fed characters' personalities. Yeah, there's Fangirl, uh, the Joss Whedon Marvel movie side character guy. There's the coughing, Sir coughs a lot, and then there's Sniper Joe, and then there's Multi from Risk of Rain 2, the big robot asshole. And let's see, I've already mentioned that when you're escorting these G-Fed peoples, they get a health bar on the side, and it just keeps going on from the first part in the game where you're protecting Mackenzie. Then you got to protect Fangirl. Then you got to protect Armstrong. Then you got to protect Sniper Joe. It's like, I don't want to do this in a Metroid game, in any Metroid game. Like, this was something that they totally would have done in like Federation Force if that was like a thing. But it doesn't. I don't think this kind of mechanic has a place in like mainline Metroid Prime games, where it's supposed to be like you, Samus, and like everybody, and nothing else really. You're supposed to just worry about yourself. Like, that's the draw of these games. And I will say, like, the only character I kind of liked was Sniper Joe, because if you find him on the overworld, because he leaves the safe zone to go up and do stuff as an NPC. He goes off and does NPC things, whatever. If you find him, he'll give you some little tidbit about his backstory, like in each location you find him in. And he has a cool backstory. Like, he says he was from a family of hunters, and this ties in like the whole Metroid Prime hunters thing. Like, oh, there's like hunters everywhere. There's human hunters. There's like whatever all the other races are in hunters, including Silux. And that like thematically felt more consistent with the rest of Metroid Prime, at least, is that there's a guy who used to be a hunter and now he works for the Galactic Federation. Okay, like, there's a little bit of depth there. If anything, I would be okay with him as the only NPC in this entire game. It would be just like Samus, that Sniper Joe, and then Silux, and then both of you are finding out like what's going on with Viros. Okay, whatever. Everybody else sucks. Getting the last few upgrades with him is dumb as hell, though, because when I was doing like item cleanup, I was looking at these areas on the map that kind of just like empty, and it looks like something should be there. And when you find the drone that scans all the items and shows you them on the map, you go to these things on the map and there's just like nothing. It's like you use a power bomb, you use all your missiles, like you use everything, you use a scanner, you see nothing, but it still says there's an item here. And what these actually are these like traveling locations that Sniper Joe goes to. I don't remember how you get this all to trigger, but like what you have to do is you find him and he stays there. You have to like leave the area, leave the whole Viros desert, come back, and then go find the next area to see where he, like, find the smoke to see where he is. It's like, this is so stupid. This is, and then the thing is, the items are like a missile expansion or like things he shouldn't have. They do nothing for him. So like, why is he holding on to them? It's like you watch the cutscene and then he's like, hey, Samus, have this. It's like, why do you have this? I should be getting these, not you. Fucking dumb decision to give those to this character to give to you. I'm just saying. Okay, here's the thing with me. I'm not against dialogue in Metroid or Metroid Prime or like any of these. I just want it to just fucking matter. And for anyone who doesn't know, or just seems like a refresher, there has been talking and dialogue in Metroid like before. I want to say Metroid Fusion was the first time we see Samus talk in through monologue, or when she's talking to Adam, the AI. It's all dialogue that matters. Also, it's like kind of the first time we see like Samus like thinking about what's going on, like those sections in the elevator where she's doing her monologue on the screen. That's like pretty cool, right? You would think so. And then they do the same thing in Metroid Other M, where it's a lot lamer. Unfortunately. they made it matter in Metroid Dread, in Metroid 5. Like, she's still like the silent protagonist for most of the game, except for when she encounters Quiet Robe. I even remember his name, Quiet Robe, before he gets like taken over by the X parasite. Because it's like the first time Samus is meeting like a Chozo who's speaking a dead language, what she thought was a dead language, and she's not speaking English at it. She's speaking Chozonian. I don't know if that's like the correct name of the language, but she's speaking there, and it's like matters what's going on. And it's kind of crazy when thinking about it. Like, this is the last time she's speaking. This could be the last time she's speaking that language to like someone that is part of a race that raised her. So I just want the dialogue to matter. What they do in Metroid Prime 4 is they take her back down to just the silent protagonist, as she's always been in the Metroid Prime games, I believe. Like, even 1, 2, 3, even in 3, where there is also more dialogue between Galactic Federation people. And, you know, the other hunters, Rundus, Gandrada, and Cyborg Johnson. She's still quiet. She doesn't talk to any of them. In this game, Metroid Prime 4, she's just kind of like, every dialogue, she just nods her head at them. She just gives them like a thumbs up or whatever. And it's like she can... But it's like, what would she be saying? She might as well be silent. Like, I can't imagine her having like quips or retorts or jokes. It's just like, yeah, just keep her silent. What would she be saying here? It's almost like these other characters who are talking their fucking our ears off should just shut the fuck up and not exist here. And so the bosses for the most part are okay. I don't remember Carvex is the first boss, the big plant. Except for 2 bosses, which are the Omega Griefer and the Fire Snake, all of the other bosses are just big, angry, ball-shaped creatures. There's Carvex, who's a big plant bulb, which, you know, people might just say this is Flagra 2. This one is pretty different enough, I think. Like, in the boss fight, you do have to use the Psychic Missile. So, like, there's a moment where it's like got all its arms out. You have to use the Psychic Missile, which slows down time, and you can use this to like guide it to its weak points. And this is a much different boss fight than Flagra, so I don't know why we're just saying this is Flagra 2. Zelios is interesting because it has the same... It feels like a companion machine to Helios from Metroid Prime 3. And I don't know the full lore of Helios. It's like a big flying contraption from Skytown. But Zelios is, according to the lore, after you beat him, it's like it used to make like the Lamorne like happy. It was really cool. Everyone thought it was like super cool, and it was like glad to help everybody, and it was just like super nice AI is the way to describe it. It's just like enjoyed helping everyone. I'm like, oh, okay. And there's the ice boss. I don't remember the name of the ice boss. It's this big like ice bug that turns into a ball and hits the walls a bunch. And then there's Fire Snake. Fire Snake's boss is pretty cool. You're on the platform that it's made up of its tail. You used a bike in this fight. That is pretty cool. Mega Griever, I don't remember what this thing does exactly. I just remember it being really fast and strong, and like that's basically it. I don't remember you doing anything special against it. And then I neglected to say that there's 2 Silex fights in this game. They're fake out fights, because what's happening is Silex is not actually in the region at all. He's hiding somewhere stupid. So these 2 Silex fights in the game are just robots that are using like a holographic cloak or coat or something to make themselves look like Silex and do what he does somehow. And I think both these times it could have been the real Silex, like after you beat him, explaining what he's doing here. And actually, the whole problem with this game is like the reason why everybody is here is an accident. So he can't have been doing anything on purpose here to make it make sense. And that's just like one of the big problems with this fucking story of this game is that a lot of you, Samus, and the rest of the Galactic people are just trying to escape here. Like, Silex isn't actively doing anything, but he's just here as a presence, and it just sucks. Speaking of Silex, this is the last thing I'm going to try to talk about. The big problem with Metroid Prime 4 isn't, the amiibo hiding the music or the Galactic Federation cringiness or any of that. It's the underuse and development of Silex and just what's supposed to be the catalyst for this whole fucking game. They had this whole game to explain his character or like show his motives or something, but like he's not present for most of the game. Like I said, he's there at the beginning for like 5% and then last 5%. So he's out for like 90% of this game. And I'm not including those two like fake out boss fights in the middle of the game. And what I also didn't realize is how long they've been like keeping Silex in their back pocket for like at the end of most games in general. Alright, so Silex is a side character from Metroid Prime Hunters, and this was a cool thing because it introduced the idea of other hunters that operate like Samus. They have their own like super missile morph ball equivalents. They have their own backstories and motives and the reason why they're hunting, etc. After Metroid Prime Hunters, we see nothing of any of these characters for a while, up until Metroid Prime 3, in which the secret ending shows you Silex's ship flying off into the distance. And then there's a moment of hype there. There's a secret cutscene in Metroid Prime Federation Force that shows Silex, supposedly Silex, like approaching a Metroid containment thing, and like he takes the Metroid. In Metroid Prime 4, where we discover the game opens up with, he's taking the Metroids and he's using them to control things and take over whatever. Which again doesn't even become that big of a plot point, because after the first boss, or you see the Metroid go infect him, it's just only implied for each and every boss after that. So we don't get to see a Metroid. Actually, I don't even think this makes sense. If Silex is there by accident, how did the other bosses get infected by a Metroid and get their brain taken over? Like, because each description says that this boss has been mind controlled thanks to a Metroid, but it's like, how if Silex was inside of a pod the whole time and everybody else is here on accident? I don't think it makes sense. Because after the big purple Fushigi cube like explodes, everybody gets like teleported, and it's a big like chaotic thing. So everybody wakes up on bureaus with like no memory of what happened, I don't think. Anyway, this game could have used like not Silex being inside of a pod the whole time and him actually going around doing something. But again, I don't think it makes sense if he would. You would have to like change this catalyst for what's happening to not be an accident. Like, Silex wanted the Beyond Cube thing so that he could teleport on purpose somewhere to do something. But the way it's shown is like an accident, so like what reason would he have to be doing anything? The big thing is that like Metroid Prime Hunters came out in 20 years ago, so you would think that they would like give us a reintroduction to his character or something. or like expanded on him, use this game to expand on him more. He is just here in this game. There's people that are old now that don't even know what a DS is. There's people that are like in their early 20s that probably didn't even see a Nintendo DS. Like they would have been like 5 or 6. Well, they would have been in 5 or 6 or even younger by the time the DS was pretty much done with, I think. And then it's been like years between Metroid Prime 3 and 4. Again, this could have like used way more of like a refresher or like a better expansion of Silex as a character. All we know about what happens in this game is that he takes control of the space pirates after Ridley dies for like the 80th time, and then he hates Samus and that he wants Metroids. Gosh, like I'm actually baffled here. And like I know where they can't go with the story because Metroid Prime 1, 2, 3 is all about like the Phazon saga in Dark Samus. So when that's over, they have to have a new threat with like a new substance. It feels like they're going for like the green crystals being a thing across like everywhere. Like, oh, the Lamorn were mutated by the green crystals, which created the Grievers. And the green crystals are infecting like the wildlife in the area. That stops being a thing by the final boss, I think. And just everything about about Silex's inclusion feels like abrupt and not explained or expanded upon, and it just sucks. The use of Silex in this game sucks. So, in the climax of the story, I think I've already said you get like the artifact equivalent, which are these robot parts that are sprawled across the map. I think there's like 5 parts, so you get all 5 parts. They assemble the robot that's gonna break through the barrier, you know, to be the drill that pierces the heavens or whatever. And then you go to Vuro's tower. So at the top of this tower is this like big like final action sequence where you have to escort them all to Silex. He's hiding in a pod. Spoiler. He wakes up in this pod and he is just pissed. He's like, "Ugh, I fucking hate you, Samus." Ugh. That's the extent of the character. There's a final flashback where you see Silex in his Galactic Federation outfit. Like, this happened a long time ago. I don't know. I guess there was this war, and Samus got in his face, and he was mad about it. and so all the way since then, leading into Metroid Prime Hunters, Silex has just been this Galactic Federation guy that just hates Samus. All the way up to now. There's no development here. We don't know anything more. And that's about it. It sucks. And it isn't even a good build-up to Silex being the final boss. Like, I thought it was going to be some big Lamornian creature that was, like, mutated, like bigger than the Alf, or what's it called? The Omega Griefer. Something, like, bigger than that. There's always, like, a really big enemy that Samus fights, like in one. Well, here's the other thing: is that like Silex isn't a creature like the previous final bosses of Metroid Prime as a series. Like Metroid Prime 1, you fight the Metroid Prime, and then Metroid Prime 2, you fight the Emperor Ing, who is like the emperor of all the dark inklings, or the inklings, what do you call it? The Ing. And it's also been mutated by Phazon, so like there's a connection between 1 and 2 there. Metroid Prime 3, the final boss is, I think, Dark Samus is part 1, and then you fight the Phazon infected Aurora unit, which is like the Galactic Federation like AI system or whatever, and this is the last thing that Dark Samus possesses to like try to kill Samus. So it makes those three games connected in that way. In this, they kind of had to start over because Silex is a character, so you have to give him like something. He's not just like a mindless creature to kill. Like it just didn't feel like anything fighting that final boss. And then there's this like forced heartfelt moment with the G-Fed people. I think I've said this before. As you're fighting him, they have their own health bars, and you have to like walk over to them and heal them in the middle of the fight, which is like super not good compared to other games, and it sucks. And I don't care for them when they do their final sacrifice in Silex's after Silex's second phase. When you fight him, you come back to Vuros. And he's planning like the plan is gonna self-destruct or whatever, because of course it is. This is Metroid. Like there's always a final self-destruct sequence. So they agree to stay behind. This is their second like we're all gonna sacrifice ourselves fake out from the mines, in which they also sacrifice themselves already. But this time they do it for good. And I just feel nothing from this. And I look at the comments from the soundtrack on YouTube, and there's people in the comments like, man, these characters meant so much to me, man. Like they had so much character, and like I really felt for them. There was so much. They were so emotive and expression. They had expressions of like, okay, what is this? Baby's first character. And you know, this must have been people who are young thinking they saw something really epic, and they're attached to these characters that sacrifice themselves. Like, okay, I get it, but if you played 1, 2, and 3 and see this, you're just like, what the fuck is this shit? Like this kind of stuff doesn't belong here. It's weird for Metroid. It's the biggest crime that the climax of this game has. So they sacrifice themselves while Samus leaves, and then she goes she's on this like mountainous mossy field thing. Their existence gets put into like this seed. She puts it into the ground. The tree grows into a thing with like made of their souls or something. I don't fucking know. So while I think this part is still dumb, it doesn't completely come out of nowhere. So way early in the game, there's a Psychic Lemurian hologram message thing that's telling you, oh, the way our race preserves our legacy is by getting a memory fruit and planting that fruit, and it grows into a tree that we can put our psychic memories in. And it holds it. You know, it's like an avatar tree or some shit. I don't know. So by getting the green crystals in this game, you're powering this memory fruit so that at the end of the game, you plant it and you are able to preserve the memory of the Galactic Federation troops who... I don't know. It's not even... Is it even implied that they died? Or is she just doing this just because? I don't know. They're just like back there on Vuros fighting Silex still. I can't imagine that they survived Silex given how powerful he was, but the point is this part is explained. This ending sucks ass. And we're supposed to feel bad because they sacrificed themselves. And I don't.
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
And then, yeah, by the end, I'm just like, I'll reiterate this again. I'll say, I was just like, what the hell was that? Krusty the Clown, what the hell was that? .jpeg. And then, what sucks is that I beat the game. So I think, well, I guess I'm gonna poke around like the lower files and kind of read up on what they put here, and I can't. You know why I can't? Because there isn't a point in this game where when you approach the final area, Viewer's Tower, it says to you, hey, why don't you save here? Because this is a point of no return. The game just carries on. Actually, I mean, it tells you that, but that's not where they put the save point. They put the save points, like the autosave or whatever, like after the point of no return. And they also make the decision that when you beat the game and continue a save file, it starts you at the beginning of the game. You don't get to look around in your like nearly complete like save file and just like look for extra shit. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what the hell? This has never happened in a previous Metroid game. You usually get to continue from your last like save point. Like I think I was at like 90% scan rate. So I'm like, I thought I did everything. So what happened? And it turns out that there's totally missable scans in the first area when you after the the text paragraph to tell you what's happening with Silux, you go to the Galactic Federation as is being invaded. There's missable scans there. So if I want to do that, I have to replay the whole game just to get those few scans, and that's fucking bullshit. So yeah, I don't know what they're going with this. Is this a brand new saga, a trilogy, or what? Like, as a contained game, it's bad. I think it is bad. With the story, it is bad. If you just like want like a newer Metroid Prime experience, like yeah, you could play this. But as a sequel to the previous 3 games, this game is bad. I'm sorry. Like, there's good ideas in this. Like, I like some of the sidekick suit stuff. I like, I wish the bike was better. Actually, I don't like the fact that this is, like, this game feels like it's late, following the open world trend, for sure. It just feels late. It feels too late to be doing this shit still. Yeah, I'll reiterate for the final time is that, like, there's moments in this game where I feel like I'm back, and then there's other moments in this game where I feel like, what the hell were they thinking? What the hell were they thinking? And throughout this whole experience, I was still thinking, what state was this game in where they had to start over? Like, the decisions that I don't like now, were they added or were they never changed at all? Because I wouldn't have done this structure at all. If, like, after playing the first 3 games, I was making Metroid Prime 4, I would have been like, okay, looking at those 3, I know how to do the next one. This is just, like, a completely different experience, which, like, has the illusion of being familiar with the other ones. That's just the most disappointing part. So those are my thoughts, my full thoughts on Metroid Prime 4. I'm not I don't give scores. I don't give ratings or scores. I just talk about every detail that either I like or that bothers me, and that's it. Bye. Well, I have a better note kind of to end this video on, since, I do ask the question, what happened to this game to get it to this point? And the week of I was editing this whole thing together, Matt McMuscles, who I don't usually watch, put out a video on Metroid Prime 4, the exact thing I wanted to know more about. And through this video, I learned that this game was shown in 2019, and then, everybody knows right after that year, COVID hit and it ruined development cycles and pretty much the whole world's production cycle about everything ever. So you can call this a COVID game. We can blame everything on COVID. It was being developed by Bandai Namco, but they weren't happy. We all know this. And then they switched back to retro, and and Kensuke Tanabe was a developer who was part of this project, like, during the Bandai Namco section of it. And when he partnered with Retro, that led to communication problems. But at the end of the day, a lot of this stuff was his idea. The bike, the desert, the Galactic Federation people. Like, mostly everything was his ideas. And he was about to retire immediately after this game, so if you can say anything about Metroid Prime 4 is that it's a completed vision at the very least. Even if I don't agree with the vision and I think the game suffers for it, at least it's a fulfilled vision. But a lot of my questions were answered in that video. So all of that said, I am done talking about this game. I am wiping my hands with it. Honestly, I'm glad they made a sequel instead of continuing with the project of remastering and remaking Prime 1, 2, and 3. When I'm already burnt out on remakes in general, Nintendo is going crazy with this stuff. And I'm tired of it. I would implore most people to just go back and play the first 3, either the original Prime 1 or the remaster, and then Prime 2. I think that game gets a lot of flack just because it's like really heavy with the keys collecting. And 3, I don't have a better retrospective in my mind on. I might have to replay that at some point. But even that game does things better than it does in 4. But anyway, I know this video is like just over an hour. I'm sorry. I tried to condense it as much as I could. I already ranted about it in a different video. If you stuck through, thanks. Thanks for watching it.